What is up, all my fellow weebs and weebettes? It is Anime Alex back again with another video and stream. Well, if you're watching this, it's on Twitch. If you're watching this later, it will be on YouTube. I'm still waiting on Meme to join the party. So that's kind of, you know, that kind of fucking sucks. But as we wait for Meme, let me explain to you what we are doing today. So as you know, all of the lovely weapons and their new switch skills have been shown. Sky was also supposed to be a part of this, but then literally Sky never got back to me, and maybe I will end up doing this solo dolo if Meme doesn't hurry up, but just because I am pressed for time right now, we are going to actually go into Greatsword. And so I would like to say something. We are going to be looking over and reviewing all the weapons and all the lovely stuff that they got, and we will be putting them into a tier list of which weapons got the most lovin' and which ones did not. So this maybe be self-explanatory, but let me give you the tiers. We have the amazing. So basically, their Silkbind attacks are amazing. The weapon, it looks really strong, looks really good, fun to use. Just all around, just really great in what we wanted. Now, the second tier is solid. This is kind of like the middle of the ground. Like, it's good, and that's about it. I don't think I didn't really make a mid tier, like a meh tier, because I don't think any weapons fall underneath meh. They're either just really amazing, they look really solid, like maybe one wire bug skill or switch skill looks a little bit off, but the other one is really good. Then you have the needs more, as in it's a wire bug skill that's good, or it looks good, or the weapons look good, but you'd probably be wanting a little bit more to it. And then you have the RIP, or the RIP tier, where the weapon basically didn't get jack crap. Just for this tier list, those are the 4 tiers. Now, as we see here, we are on the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak official webpage, so we can also look into the skills in depth. And let's start out with the trailer for Greatsword, and we'll look over it. Also, feel free to just comment in the chat if you want to. Go ahead and put Lance Ryan in a rip, bruh. We're going to be getting there. We're going to be getting there. So, as you see, we got a counter for Greatsword. And we got this new surge / combo, which is in replace of charge / combo. So it's like you do these flurry of attacks, and the last one that you do is going to be your rage / or true charge /. You also get this really sick wire bug like counter in the middle of it. So that's also really great. And regardless of what you think about the wire bug countering, I'm just kind of looking at these weapons in a vacuum. Some people lean over to this is going to be overpowered. Other people are leaning over to being optimistically cautious and saying that if we get all these buffs, then imagine what the monsters got. So I'm more along the lines of optimistically cautious. So no, I'm not going to be ranking any of these weapons based on how overpowered or broken they seem. I'm basically ranking them on the tools and Silkbind attacks that they have gotten. Now, As you see, the first skill is a surge/combo. It's an offensive style that combines speed with the weight of the weapons to unleash a stream of powerful slashes. As we see here, where you are basically doing this like very anime. And also, speaking of the Greatsword, here's the registered Greatsword meme coming into the party. What's up, meme?
No.
None.
Talking to my mom.
Talking much. All right, so great. You didn't miss anything. We were just kicking things off with Greatsword. Now, the first.
I like it.
I really do like it. Greatsword. This iteration of Greatsword makes me want to play Greatsword. I'm not gonna cap. I really do love the surge/combo.
Though, if I'm being honest, I gotta sin a little bit. That new longsword sheath, I like it.
We'll get
seems like a risk reward thing.
We will get into that in a minute, but
and I have a matchmaking penalty. How nice.
How nice. But anyways, we have surge/combo. It's basically just a very fast combo that at the end of it you basically go into rage slash or true charge slash, which is really great because that means, you know, maybe you'll sacrifice some damage, right? Since you're not using your charging hits, but
not nowadays. That's not really what you're focusing on nowadays. You're focusing on those combo finishers. Your big bucks.
Yeah, your big butt.
The dopamine emitters.
The dopamine. Yeah, exactly. The dopamine emitters is when you hit rage slash or true charge slash. So just having something that gets us faster into that, while also just being a really good like combo that you could just throw out on fast moving monsters is just really good. And it's just I would say it's one of the things that Greatsword pretty much needed for this immense power creep that is just happening, so it didn't get really left in the dust. As I was actually talking about like a month ago on stream, that I felt like Greatsword needed something like this. And you know, some people in the comments were like, Alex, I don't think the Greatsword needed it. But you know what? I did fucking call Greatsword getting a counter in the midst of your charging. And you know what Capcom did? They heard my cries and we got strong arm stance, which is a technique that uses iron silk to reinforce both your arms and weapons temporarily to defend off attacks. So, as we've seen, you can basically use this as a counter or a block, guard point, whatever, and you basically can block an incoming attack, and after if you use while charging, you can quickly parry an attack and then unleash a fierce onslaught afterwards. So this is basically kind of paired up when you're charging. So when you're charging and you're doing your big boy numbers, you could basically use strong arm stance and then go into a fierce onslaught afterwards, or you could be strong arm stance and going into surge/combo afterwards. But what I did hear from the vines, the grapevines, is that strong arm stance gives you rock steady. I don't know if it gives you rock steady if you just like block something.
That far, but I feel like it's more like Dark Souls poise, and you just have a butt ton.
Yeah, like
you can still get knocked out from like the really big attacks,
like
massive body slams, like Mizu and something like that.
Yeah, like I've been seeing like a lot of people been saying that strong arm stance gives you rock steady if you perfectly parry after it, and if it does, then hey, big ups to fucking Greatsword for that.
If it's like world EI slash or whatever, like the from the Sheath, if it's like that kind of parry, I could see it maybe, but that seems like a stretch.
Yeah, but just by itself, you know, just having something that you can just parry while then going back into your charging, like someone's not interrupting you, is like perfect. Now, my only worry about strong arm stance is that it looks like the iframes are a little bit too long on it. Like they're longer than long swords and charge blades and lances guard points. So it's just like, I like where this is going, and I honestly think that they should add this like in Gen 6, like Monster Hunter 6 or something like that, or whatever they're gonna name the next game for the mainline series consoles and whatnot. I feel like this should really be put into the Greatsword's repertoire in their combos, because I really do feel like it just adds that next level of playstyle. But maybe they should look into the iframes, and that's all I can really say on that. But other than
Well, you have to remember, this is just early previews. It's not any sort of final
yeah,
product.
it is early preview, so I'm not saying it's overpowered right now, but I'm saying like if what I envision is just having something to where if you can perfectly counter, you can counter the monster and going back into a charging, or it will just raise up your charge level, or just make it to where it goes to the final level of that charge you have, which I think it would be really cool. And if you fuck it up, then you just get hit and you just lose your charge. And it's pretty much a huge risk or reward. You basically have to stand still, charge, and bait an attack, which would actually pair really well with diversion. If that's where the playstyle is going. But yeah, I really do like how Greatsword is looking. So Greatsword is like all the way up into amazing tier with its new Silkbind attacks. They look beautiful. Now, let's go all the way back to the next one on the list, the Longsword. And this is the most controversial on the list, so let's see what they gave it. And as you see here, there's so much dislikes on the Longsword video, and I just don't understand why, because this weapon looks fucking
massive AoE that your counters get extra ticks for some reason.
I mean, honestly, it's pretty balanced. It besides the second part to it, but the first part of getting extra ticks for countering is pretty balanced because you actually have to like use your skill to.
Yeah, but in Rise they made it easier to counter.
I mean, yeah, but you can still fuck up on it. I mean,
yeah, but it's much harder to compared to World.
Yeah, but
like, your EI slash in World was much more punishing.
Oh hell yeah! But the problem with Worlds is that the risk versus reward was like there's too much risk versus the reward of what you were getting, and then in Rise it's kind of like the adverse. There's too much reward for the risk of it. They might change up the iframes of it and make it more like World while giving it the boost to Rise. I've also seen somewhere that someone has noted that the EI Spirit slash or actually got a nerf in damage.
Yeah, I saw that there were, I think like with Sunbreak there's gonna be a lot of balance changes.
Yeah.
Happening.
Yeah.
They said that.
And you know what? I'm okay on it, honestly. Like, I feel like Harvest Moon combined with the nerf to the EI Spirit slash, if the nerf is confirmed true, is going to be great because it's going to push people into like actually like timing, and then you basically drop your Harvest Moon, you swap to your other switch skills, and you basically gain your damage and then some back with your counters, which I personally think that's really good balancing. And also I see Dragonoid says that outfit looking clean. I really do love Lunagaron's armor. Lunagaron's armor and longsword looks fucking sick, and honestly Lunagaron's longsword is slowly becoming one of my favorite longswords in the game, and it's not even out yet. But as you see, Harvest Moon, I believe, takes the place of that other counter, right?
Harvest Moon?
Yeah, Harvest Moon takes place of the Serene Pose, I believe.
Is that the long ass sheath?
No, Harvest Moon is the AoE.
Oh, extra ticks?
Yeah, the extra ticks.
Oh, okay. I think it takes place of your soaring kick.
No, because it shows on Soaring Kick you can swap it to Sakura slash. So I'm guessing this is going to take place or precedence over your Serene Pose. Which, honestly, I barely even use Serene Pose as it is, which is kind of a bad habit of mine. But I'd rather just go Harvest Moon over Serene Pose. I'm not going to cap.
Wait, are you in a call with Sky right now?
No.
Oh, because this isn't common call. Alex and Sky.
Oh yeah, I just made a
joint echo.
Yeah, I just like made a Discord. Yeah, I made a group for it, and then Sky was like out, but Sky told me he was able to talk. But oh well, I don't really have enough. Yeah, it happens. I don't really have enough time to do it. Do something else or prolong this for a day. Anyways, as you see here, Silkbind Harvest Moon, a move that casts an Iron Silk Ring that narrows your range of attack, but boosts your spirit so you could go on the offense. So I believe Diversion is going to be really potent on Longsword with this move. Within the ring, your spirit gauge won't deplete, which this is the part that everyone is raving about because your spirit gauge won't deplete. Yeah, your spirit gauge won't deplete. So you can literally just use Silkbind Sakura Slash to get up to red sharpness and drop your Harvest Moon and it won't deplete. And you can literally combo off of red sharpness infinitely while you're in that Harvest Moon.
Like you mean tier 3 spirit?
Yeah. And if you perform any counterattacks, it will add additional hits. Now, the caveat, and everyone's losing their fucking minds about it, right? Now, the thing is, we don't know if this applies to like Helm Splitter.
No, the Helm Splitter is not a counter.
No. Now I'm not talking about the counter. I'm talking about the spirit gauge won't deplete. Now people are thinking that when they mean the spirit gauge won't deplete, they're trying to allude to. I think. Yeah, I think it's just the passive depletion. I don't think it's the Helm Splitter because that's like actively using this the spirit gauge. Now, if this thing gives Helm Splitter like you can infinitely use Helm Splitters off a red gauge while in Harvest Moon, that'd be way too broken. As a longsword player, that'd be way too fucking broken. Depletion. Yeah, I think it's the passive depletion, and I hope it's just the passive depletion because if that literally gives you basically infinite red sharpness to the point where like you can use like any of your abilities that uses up your spirit gauge, that just be complete and utter nuttiness, and I would not agree with it. But other than that, you have this Sacred Sheath, which actually in turns replaces your EI Spirit Sheath, that's what I like. That move looks baller as hell. Now this actually looks like Longsword's wake up, and you know, other people are complaining about this. I really don't understand why a person would complain about this move because I have something to say to those people. Mauled. Ratioed. But like cope, but like this because people are literally complaining that Longsword's taking great swords, but I'm all like, you don't see people complaining that Greatsword has a counter. Like, really? Well, Greatsword's main damage encounter is the Rage Slash, which is not really a counter. It's more of just eat damage and put it back. Yeah. But that counter is going to be really great for Rage Slash and it's going to boost that even further. Yeah, I need to check that video out again. I kind of forgot a good chunk of it, if I'm being honest. Yeah, but what I'm thinking, what's going to happen with the longsword meta, it's definitely going to be, you're going to use Silkbind Sakura Slash to get up to red sharpness, and then switch your skills into your Harvest Moon slash Helmbreaker combo, and you're just going to drop down Harvest Moon while you got your red spirit, and then you're just going to start comboing with like a Spirit Reckoning combo or Valor Longsword combo. And then just use it, you know, just have your little arena fight, counter, do whatever you need to, and then just throw out Helmbreakers left, right, and center, and then just keep on alternating between Silkbind Sakura Slash and Soaring Kick, which, you know, and that is kind of overpowered, and I did say something about that when Rise first came out, and I stated that I was glad that Silkbind Sakura Slash and Soaring Kick could not be used on these in conjunction, because that'd be really broken in a combo. But well, now we get it. But hey, I guess it gives Sakura Slash like a use instead of being relegated on the sidelines. Yeah, but I think that's one of the things with like I think that's why you shouldn't have that red and blue scroll system, because there's just a lot of stuff that seems to be able to synergize off each other, and it'll just make it like too strong. Yeah, there's a lot of synergy. I won't cap. But maybe they buffed the monsters really high in conjunction. We don't know yet, so it is up for interpretation. But I'm just happy that Longsword has like an official wake up. because that
What
charge,
do you mean an official wake up?
the sacred sheath combo.
No, but why is that like an official wake up? It's just a different combo.
No, because like you're charging it for massive damage.
But it seems to be a very long charge, which I think is a good
Y-
thing. That will
y-
help
Yeah,
discern it from other types of charging weapons like hammer or greatsword.
true. It says a slow, methodical movement that can be executed following an attack. Upon sheathing your weapon, you can harness the increased spirit to unleash a follow-up slash. Now, the power of the slash increases according to the level of spirit gauge. Now, I don't understand if like you put it into your sheath and like the longer that you have it, the more spirit you gain. Like it just goes up the levels and then you use it. But it does say if you are attacked before you have finished the sheath, it will consume 1 level of spirit gauge and the move will be canceled.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah,
You have
it's
to be
very
smart about it. You
yeah.
can't just spam it. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yeah, you can't spam it. You have to be smart about it, which will go into my next point. Is it a counter or no? Is it just a really huge opener? Which I'd be okay with. Like I'd honestly be okay with it. So that just means you would have Sacred Sheath combo and like Silkbind's Sakura Slash on one move set, and then you have Soaring Kick and Soaring Kick, Harvest Moon, and honestly you probably just put Harvest Moon on both red and blue scrolls, and then you basically have your other combos or your other sheath combo on the other scroll. So you basically have the best of both worlds. You have your counters on one and then you have big dick damage on the other. Pretty great. Longsword definitely going up to amazing. Like there's just no other way around it. Because what they got or what we got. Actually, I can't even really use we because I'm more of a ranged player now, but Longsword is definitely amazing. And we will be moving on to Sword and Shield. Another banger. And I don't even play Sword and Shield. Honestly, Sword and Shield is one of my least favorite weapons just because of how just because I'm all like, if I really want to play this fast playstyle, I'd just rather play dual blades. That's just me. But
yeah, but Sword and Shield is a fucking KO King in Rise.
Dude,
dumb.
I know it's very dumb that it's the KO King, and if any weapon deserved like a really massive buff, it really was the hammer on its KO values, because I don't really agree that
Huntinghorn and Hammer got the same switch skill.
I know. It's crazy.
So stupid.
It's crazy. We'll get into this. Also, I have the videos playing if you are actually pulled up the Twitch. But anyways, let's get into what our boys of Sword and Shield got. Now,
Oh God.
Now I'm not going to ride the hype train because I was never really big into Sword and Shield, but I might try it out more in Sunbreak, because we got the main Silkbind attack that literally completes the Sword and Shield. Destroyer Oil. Use a wire bug to cover your blade with a special ointment, whose effects triggered if ignited by friction with your shield. While active, monsters flinch more easily, creating more openings for attack. Now, Destroyer Oil back in MGU,
the worst oil.
The worst oil. Basically added part break damage, and I believe it also increased flinching. I don't know if it adds more part break damage to your sword and shield.
It was like 10% more.
Okay, but here it says monsters flinch more easily. They never mention anything about part break damage. So hopefully the part break damage modifier is still going to be put with this thing, and it's not just the flinch more easily, because I would like Destroyer Oil to just come back in its full form. Now, I'm glad it's actually Destroyer Oil for these various reasons. I feel like
it's the most balanced.
It's the most balanced oil, because Infinity Oil was just broken. That's free 15% affinity just for pressing.
No, it's like 45 was Chaos 3.
Oh,
Because you get 15, you can put the oil on, and then you get the double effect on chaos oil.
bro, that's crazy. That's actually wild. Um,
Sir, please get out of the corner.
dude, if we actually got chaos oil, that'd be bull. But like, we probably wouldn't have gotten chaos oil because then it'd be like, where's the other oils to actually have chaos oil? So it would have made 0 sense for us getting chaos oil. But that was broken. Anyways, so Silkbind Destroyer oil is going to be like the best one because I feel like KO oil would just make hammer really redundant, and I don't agree. And with you already having Shoryu Metsuru Geki,
It's because Shoryugeki has
Metsu Shoryugeki.
That's the main reason why it builds up so much KO damage, and then you also have your shield combo, which I think they just increase the base.
Yeah,
the increased KO of it because it did need it because it was kind of redundant.
Yeah, but hey, Sword and Shield is basically the CC weapon. You can KO while also flinching, and you can basically just stun lock the fuck out of monsters now with Sword and Shield. It's really funny. But you know, Destroyer Oil looks like it just takes the place of the other switch skill. I forgot. It's the other one that's not tied to Metsu Shoryugeki. No, it is tied to Metsu. It is tied to Metsu Shoryugeki. But I guess the playstyle of Sword and Shield is going to be apply Destroyer Oil every single time when you can, and then swap into Metsu Shoryugeki on the other scroll.
That's why the scrolls aren't a good idea.
No. The scrolls not being a good idea would be a viable argument for the longsword, but I feel like for Sword and Shield, the scrolls work perfectly. Like Destroyer Oil isn't too overpowered. That's going to basically be all like it's a make or break or be like really broken. But instead, it's a really nice way to re-implement oils while also having the crazy over the top skills that Sword and Shield already got. And last but not least, you also got Twin Blade Combo, a 2-part attack that opens with a circular slash and follows up with a blade thrust, an easy attack to get multiple hits in with, so ideal for weapons with high elemental status properties. So I guess...
Okay, so they're adding back elemental Sword and Shield. That's good.
All right. So you have your normal Sword and Shield combo, and then you have Twin Blade combo. But my thing is that, so like with the normal Sword and Shield combo, is it like going to be more towards raw, and the Twin Blade combo is going to do less damage but be more towards elemental, or the Twin Blade combo is just going to be better?
I don't think it's. It'll probably a little bit less overall total damage, but it's gonna be faster. And as you know, faster combos means more elemental damage.
All right.
And then you can also combine it with the
Destroyer Oil
instead of having this. Instead of having the finisher, like you know how you have that triple shield bash finisher, you can there in Risers that sword thrust finisher where if you hit it deals like 3 ticks, so you can really get that status damage or elemental damage in there.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, going into Destroyer Oil into Perfect Rush combo. Oh my god, that's gonna be great. Like, Sword and Shield really did get some love, and I'm not even a Sword and Shield main, and I'm going to put Sword and Shield into Amazing. I know for the first 3 weapons, they're all in Amazing, but they really did get some banger abilities. Also, I don't even know why I, like, backed out of weapons right there. Anyways, coming up to Dual Blades, which is actually recent, just dropped today. At the time that you are seeing this, it was dropped today on the 25th of May. So we got Spiral Slash, which is basically the corkscrew slash. I forgot what it's called in MGU, but you know, that's great. It's a Silkbind attack that launches.
Like drill
Drill slash. Yeah, it's drill slash. Yeah, and it's a Silkbind attack that launches you spiraling forwards. Once your attack connects, your body attacks as a drill as your blades bore into your target's flesh. Note, you can also perform a spiral slash midair, which I believe is really cool because you don't really have a lot of Silkbind attacks that you can perform in midair in the game. The only one that comes to mind is the one that the Switch Axe has, that diving thrust. But spiral slash can be performed in air. I don't know if they're going to also add in the part break multiplier on it, like it does have in MGU.
I think the main reason it has that in GU is because you need to hit a weak point if you want all the ticks to go off, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case in Rise. You're just going to be able to do it, but like less overall ticks compared to GU, because you notice that animation is much lower.
Yeah. I really do feel as if this was great, really great add-in. It's just gonna make dual blades more aggressive. And then you have the slide slash combo. Now I'm a little bit on the fence of that, so let's play the video here. As you see, here is piercing bind gets replaced with spiral slash. So there's this thing that I saw on the comments. Now, I don't know, on paper it sounds really overpowered, but in actuality it might not work the same way as one would hope, and that's that you would piercing bind a monster and then swap into spiral slash and then spiral slash. My only thing is that I feel like with the amount of time that it will take you to do that,
wouldn't be worth it.
like piercing bind would already go off, or it would go off in the middle of your spiral slash and you wouldn't even get most of the ticks off.
No, it's not worth it to try and piercing bind it.
Yeah, and piercing bind is already such a good ability. I like spiral slash, and I'm really happy that it's back from MGU or MHGU. But like, compared to piercing bind, I really don't know which one's going to be the best used. Now, the next one,
up to preference.
Yeah, I think is going to be up to preference. I mean, I'm gonna try both. But then here's this slide slash combo. And now the slide slash combo is very interesting, and it says float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. This technique allows you to attack while evading, and if you work it into your combos, you can unleash a relentless attack that is difficult to defend against. Now, my only thing, as cool as that might sound on paper, it really looks very hard to actually control. Like, just from seeing these slides, I'm seeing you go from one Magnum Hollow arm to another, and on Magnum Hollow it'd be really great, but on like another monster like, let's say Rajang, I feel like it'd be very hard to pull off, but because you're going from possibly his best hit zone that you could hit him on to a really bad hit zone off of like one dodge,
I think it's probably just more of a situational switch skill. You don't need to use it on every monster, obviously.
Yeah, it'd be more situational. I really do like how you can attack while evading. It's kind of expanding onto Feral Demon mode, but I also want to know, how does that work with Feral Demon mode? Do you go to Feral Demon mode and when you dash you get to attack, but then when you start your combos you just start dashing from left to right? With slide slash combo, because it appears that your slide slash combo replaces your normal dual blade combo.
Jesus Christ, Rep 456.
And
sheesh.
And I wonder if Evade Extender is going to be really good on this build, because could you imagine just having a level 3 Evade Extender and it proccing on your slide slash while you're just attacking, but you're also getting increased iframes off your Evade Extender? Like, I wonder if it procs it, Like, would you think it's going to proc it or not?
Probably not.
I would say not, to play it safe, but if it does proc it, that'd be fucking insane. Could you imagine just attacking with like increased iframes to the point where you just don't get any damage if you do it correctly and you time your dashes correctly? Be crazy. All in all, all in all, I would say solid. Dual blades would be solid. Like they got something that's a really good side grade to something that they already like, to to an ability that's already very potent. So I really don't know where Spiral Slash will sit until like the game fully comes out. And Slide Slash combo looks very situational, but they look flashy. All of them look great. So I would say Dual Blades did get some loving. So they're solid, you know? Why is my... What in the world? And onward to Lance. Oh boy. Oh boy. Better get the trumpet out now and just start playing taps, because this weapon died 1,000 deaths, and this remains one of the most disliked videos on the Monster Hunter webpage, because I saw the dislikes. Last time I saw this, which was before, keep in mind, before Dual Blades and Light Bowguns showcases came out, this had 9.8k dislikes compared to its measly 2k or 1.5k whatever likes. It was bad. And it really does show, bruh. I'm just all like, bruh, how lazy could you have gotten? I don't even play Lance, and I feel the Lance main's pains. Like, how lazy could you have gotten coming out with abilities for the Lance? Let's start it off with Skyward Thrust. It is literally just Wyvern Plunge or Wyvern Thrust from Insect Glaive, only the caveat is you have like a couple of extra ticks on the way down, so you can basically use status or elemental lance,
which is not really a good thing,
which is also not even that great, keep in mind. And it's just like, it says a technique where a wire bug launches you high in the air and thrusts your lance down to the heavens and pierce the earth. The falling portion of the attack inflicts multiple hits. So it's only really good for status and element. And I mean, it's probably going to be really great damage comparatively to Anchor Thrust, because Anchor Thrust is kind of a little bit weird in how it works. But at least Anchor Thrust kind of resembled that one Hunter Arts and MHGU where you got increased damage from it. Skyward Thrust is just a ripoff of an already previous Silkbind attack that we got in the game, which kind of really does suck. And I really wish that instead of getting Skyward Thrust, we would have gotten that huge corkscrew jab as a Silkbind attack from MHGU, the one where it made Lance completely meta in Monster Hunter Jin when it was the best weapon, and then it went down to like what, number 3 best weapon in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, or possibly even number 2. I don't know, but that
are you talking about corkscrew jab?
Yeah, corkscrew jab. They should have given that back to it.
Yeah, that probably would have been better than the downward thing. That downward thing doesn't seem that necessary.
And you can also have it to where it's multiple hits. The Silkbind attack would have charged up your lance, and then it would start making this weird drill where when you like thrust, and it'd be like this really huge charge up move that you probably can only do it on a stationary target or a down target, so it's not like a spammable move like it was in MHGU that just completely made that game piss easy if you were a Lance player. But
I'd say in GU, Lance still kind of had like a steeper learning curve, though.
I mean,
it's not like you pick Lance and then you win instantly. It's not just like that.
I don't know. The shield was really busted. The Hunter Arts were really busted. On top of that, with a deviant weapon and striker Lance, all you really like, Lance's playstyle in MHGU was literally just spam out all of your Hunter Arts and then get them back almost instantly with deviant plus striker combo. So I mean, yes, Lance has a little bit of nuance of what you need to learn in the older games, especially with like evade lancing and stuff. In Monster Hunter GU, it was more or less just spam out all your abilities. But I will say in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate and 4, that evade lance nuance was a thing. Now, and then your next switch skill is Shield Tackle. And this, I really don't understand why this is a thing. And then honestly, I feel like the Shield Tackle ability should have already been on Lance.
Oh, I fucking fell for that.
From the get-go. And it's a technique where you charge forward with your shield. You can also follow up with a variety of thrusting attacks, watch for an opening, and then unleash an unrelenting series of attacks. So this looks like a dashing guard point, and I've noticed it also does KO damage. But I'm just kind of thinking to myself, why isn't this on Lance from the get-go? This is just It's not.
No, but I thought there's a switch skill where you can change its charge to the shield one.
So you're thinking of Guard Dash, which is the base move, which Guard Dash doesn't even really give you anything, but Shield Tackle is like this enhanced move. So as you see on the like trailer, you see this guard dash, right? And you guard, you dash, and it's basically you absorb some damage. You basically absorb damage, but you still take damage. You just like mitigate it. But then the Shield Tackle, right, is basically a guard point, because as you see, you have that guard point blue thing. But as you see, it's literally the same. It's literally the same exact move. Like, all you did was just put a guard point on the shield, on the guard dash, and then you just renamed it Shield Tackle. And then you put some KO properties to it. So I'm just like, why didn't you do that from the get-go? Or Lance? Because this would be a really good move to just have a little bit more extra damage, have a guard point off your dash just to go into your combo, and it will just help with Lance's DPS, which is something that Lance struggles with. I'm not saying bring Lance back to its former glory of Monster Hunter Jin and Jin Ult, to where it was one of the most broken weapons and even more broken than Valor Longsword. But you could at least give it something for damage instead of this like piss poor damage that it has now. So Lance sadly gets to be the first weapon in the RIP tier.
Yeah, it really kind of got cocked. I hope they'll change it before then, but who we will see, I guess.
It's a little bit late. There's a month. They'd have to like make a whole nother slew. Yeah, they would have to make a whole other Silkbind attack and animate it. But anyways, onward to Gunlance. As you see, now a lot of people have been complaining about Gunlance, but I would want to open your guys' mind. Gunlance honestly didn't get that bad of stuff. Now I will get that bad of a Silkbind attack. Now I will say maybe it really does suck looking in, because it's like, oh wow, it's just another one of these full burst attacks, and I don't really know why we're getting all of this, because we just want something else than, oh, big boom on our Gunlance, which sad thing is sad on the Gunlance, you can't really make it very flashy, because it's a defensive weapon that's a big boomstick that also can melee attack. There's really nothing much you can really do outside of that, instead of like playing up to what it does best. But you know, what they did is actually really great for their for the, you know, the damage or the DPS of the Gunlance. Now the problem is that this might just make Gunlance into this role where you're just spamming out this one Silkbind attack, and that's basically how you play it, instead of actually using the combos for it. So in that terms, it's going to kind of blow. But let's see what they got. You have Silkbind Bullet Barrage, and Silkbind Bullet Barrage takes place of Ground Splitter, and what it does, it is use a wire bug to blast dash towards your target and unleashing everything with abandon. And be careful, your shells, your Wormstake cannon, and your Wyvern fire will automatically be reloaded first before performing the attack. This attack basically allows you to use all your shells, a Wormstake cannon, and Wyvern's fire all at the same time. And now a lot of people might be saying, well, that's really lame. In actuality, it's really great, because instead of using every single one by themselves, which would take you a while, you are using them all at the same time, which that's huge. That's huge amount of DPS just coming out of Bullet Barrage, which is going to increase your damage numbers and in the speed run times tremendously with Gunlance. So it got something that would accentuate its strengths, even though it didn't get anything flashy. Now, the last one it got is Erupting Cannon, which this technique involves firing an explosive stake into your target. And when using the Eruption Cannon, the tip of the gun lance heats up and slashing attacks are enhanced for a certain period of time. Now, this is another thing that a lot of people in the gun lance community is very worried about, because when gun lancers see the terms heat up, they're like, oh no, the overheat mechanic is back, they're going to nerf our damage, our base damage in compensation of raising our enhanced slashing attacks. And I hope that's not the case here, but I understand why people are worried, because it happened in MHGU and it also happened in this game with Ground Splitter. And Erupting Cannon takes place of Wormstake Cannon, which what's Wormstake Cannon? Is that like one of its like moves? No, it's a switch skill, so it's one of its base moves. So instead
no, it is one of its base. It was in World with after a full burst or shooting 3 times, you can shove like a thing into the monster that'll tick away it. But if you want it back, you have to do a full reload.
Yeah, and with the Erupting Cannon, it replaces that, and this technique involves firing an exploding stake into your targets, and then when using the Eruption Cannon, the tip of the gun lance heats up. So basically, you put the stake in and you attack it. Okay, let's see this here, because I need to try to...
And I think when you attack it, I think when you full burst or shoot it, then it explodes.
Honestly, it doesn't even look like it's putting anything into this Rachna Kodachi. It just looks like it's doing these really huge bursts, like bursts of damage, and the tip of the gun lance heats up, and it makes your slashing attacks increase. So I guess you use Erupting Cannon to like fire off these huge bursts of attack, and then you just go right into Slap Lance playstyle afterwards. But I mean, if the damage doesn't get nerfed beforehand, then I guess it's good. I will say it could have used a little bit more, but I mean, I just need to see how it plays out in the game. But I do think Bullet Barrage is fairly cool. It might not be the most flashiest of things, and it might not be what people necessarily wanted, but it is definitely going to increase the DPS and just be better for Ground Lance in a whole. Now moving on to Hammer. All my Hammer bros out there, this is going to be a really weird spot, because it looks like the Hammer and the Hunting Horn basically just shook hands and decided to give each one a different ability or a different attack move from their repertoire. As you see, we have Impact Burst, which adds a shockwave to charge attacks for a period of time. Yeah. So this is just basically Valor Hammer.
So I guess Valor did change up its moves, but no, it wasn't fucking Valor.
No, Valor was the water stance that get. Yeah, Valor.
Yeah, Hunter. I don't know. I thought it was Valor that did that.
Yeah, because we already got Valor Hammer, which gives the Hammer a counter, which is like the best Hammer switch skill, right? I believe so. And then with the Silkbind Impact Burst is a Silkbind attack that wraps your weapon in iron silk. For a short period of time, any charged attack performed causes the silk to vibrate, creating a shockwave that makes it easier to flinch monsters. So, as well as getting KO damage, you can now flinch and exhaust monsters. And as you see with the Impact Burst, you use this Impact Burst, and then you basically do that little...
Balanced Orochi, holy shit.
Yeah, you basically do that little supersonic spinning move with the hammer or with the horn that you get when that circular bar fills up, and you basically do that multi-hit attack, and then every single of your charge moves basically adds in that little shockwave that it adds flinching to the monster and exhaustion. So it basically turns Hammer into a pseudo hunting horn without the buffs. And then that actually takes away from Impact Crater. So Impact Burst replaces Impact Crater. But as I see, you can use Impact Burst and then swap into Impact Crater, which is going to be actually really good for the Hammer. I don't even care if people might think it's overpowered, because Hammer needs all the buffs that it can get because of how badly its KO damage got really shafted. And Sword and Shield said, hey, I'm gonna just replace you and your job. And then for our last switch skill, or last buff, we got the Spinning Bludgeoning Charge, and it's basically a switch skill that allows which states it's a technique that stores release power and funnels it into the next charge spin attack. Power is built up when performing a spinning bludgeon. The charge level is then maintained when executing a charge switch. Making good use of this is to unleash a series of level 3 charged attacks. So from base, you have this spinning bludgeon, so you charge it and then you release it, and then you're just kind of spinning it, and that's it. And then while the spinning bludgeon, you basically charge it, and it looks like it charges a little bit slow, and then you spin, but then it charges more. So it just looks like a pure upgrade from spinning bludgeon charge, honestly. Looks like the same move, only just it does more damage because it charges while you're spinning. I'm just like, all right. Okay. So you just basically increase the damage of an already, like, of a move already into its repertoire, into its move set. But you know what? For getting extra flinching and the Iron Silk, it's pretty solid. I mean, a Hammer was already already had pretty solid Silkbind attacks, but having Impact Burst being and then going right into Impact Crater is actually going to be really great, and it's going to make it to where Hammer is going to have a little bit more utility with making it easier to flinch monsters. So I say it's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Hunting Horn. And let's see what you got for a Hunting Horn.
It got the same attack. It got the same Silkbind as Hammer.
I know. It's like Hammer got basically a Silkbind attack based off of one of Horn's moves, and then Horn basically just got a Hammer move. So as you see, we're looking at Silkbind Shockwave right now, and Silkbind Shockwave replaces Slide Beat, and Slide Beat is basically that forward moving. But what's interesting is that Silkbind Shockwave appears to be one of those Silkbind attacks that you want to use in conjunction with the opposite Silkbind attack. So on one scroll you have Silkbind Shockwave, and on the other one you have Slide Beat, and you basically want to go into your Silkbind Shockwave and then you Slide Beat right afterwards, it looks like. Because what it says Silkbind Shockwave does is that a Silkbind attack that wraps your weapon in Iron Silk for a short period of time, any attack performed causes the silk to vibrate, creating a timed delay shockwave that triggers additional hits. These additional hits do major stun, exhaust, and part damage. Holy part damage. See, that makes me feel like Destroyer Oil won't get any part damage modifier, because they specifically said part damage in this, and they never specifically said part damage in any other move, as of like the spiraling attack or the spiraling drill attack in Dual Blades, or the Destroyer Oils and Sword and Shields. This comes out and states that you will get more part break damage, you will get more exhaust and more stunning, which kind of worries me, because then now Horn is kind of doing what Hammer's job is. But at least this is kind of a buff and not just an attack. So
isn't there like a backswing thing it can now do? Like you wire bug yourself backwards, or was that hammer I'm thinking of?
I mean, that's Silkbind Shockwave. So what it does is like you throw your Silkbind attack up, you knock into the monster, and it does KO damage, but it also pushes you back a little bit. So it's kind of like a retreating move, but then it buffs you. It gives you a buff to where your follow-up attacks, basically will do additional stun, exhaust, and part damage, because you basically get these vibrations that causes like these time delayed shockwaves that trigger additional hits. So you basically get like this buff that triggers additional hits that then do increase part damage, exhaust, and stun. That is what I'm taking away from this. So you know, that's pretty good. And then you have this swing combo, which makes it to where you can swing your hammer to the side. It kind of makes it look like World, honestly. Honestly, it kind of looks like they brought back like the World combo, or like the older style hunting horn combo, where you could swing your hammer or your horn, and then you can like basically dodge from one end to the other. It says the swing combo, a 2-hit attack that can be delivered from either left or right. This allows you to quickly shift direction, making it useful for repositioning, which, you know, I guess it basically is really good for Horn. But honestly, Horn got a lot of really great repositioning tools in Rise with the that little self-performance, where you basically spin and you get those iframes. And if anything, I do believe that deserves a buff, because the iframes are a little bit wonky on that. It's very hard to tell where the iframes start and stop, and I feel like they really do need to take a look at it and buff it a bit for the Horn players in Rise, especially since 30% of their damage got nerfed between the demo and the base game. The crush attack combo also gets replaced, so your base combo gets replaced by this swinging combo that just allows you to reposition. It looks like a little bit faster since it's a 2-hit attack, so I guess that's just going to be up for, you know, your personal taste of how you enjoy playing your Horn. But you know, it looks solid. You got basically a buff that allows you to stun monsters more, and that's also really great. You got more repositioning tools, which is fairly useful for your hunting horn, and you got this little back away on top of your boost that you can also use in conjunction with your other moves. So solid, very solid weapon.
Yeah, it did look fine, but like kind of not super duper notable.
Yeah, it's like not super duper notable, but it looks fine. Now Switch Axe though, Switch Axe got some loving, like I mean like some loving.
They don't watch Swax. I feel like I just didn't watch Swax.
I actually am starting to enjoy Swax more in Rise. And you got this elemental burst counter, which I don't know which skill this takes precedent, but they gave a counter to Switch Axe, which is fucking wild.
Unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, but it's wild, especially how much hyper armor Switch Axe got from base. It just feels like this was very unnecessary, but you know what? I'm all for it. It replaces
that Astalos Swax looking baller.
Oh yeah, that Astalos Swax in Astalos armor is looking chef's kiss, like mwah. But the Switch Charger, which is the ability that gives you protective polish to your meter, your elemental meter on your Switch Axe, this replaces it and makes it to where you have this elemental burst counter, but it gets used in conjunction with your Switch Charger, because you use your Switch Charger, you get that protective polish on your elemental energy bar, and then you can use your elemental burst counter with it, which the elemental burst counter, it compresses switch gauge energy that can be released as an elemental burst. If the burst is released right as the monster attacks, you will perform a power finisher and your switch axe will go into an amped state. So you basically get your amp state just for perfectly countering.
Wow.
While also compresses your or while also like releasing your elemental burst.
I like the 2-step morph combo or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
2-stage.
Oh
morph
yeah.
Combo. That's a cool. I think that's actually the Valor combo.
Oh yeah. Then you get the axe 2-stage morph slash combo, which honestly I feel like is going to be better than the axe wide sweep combo. Like just it completely replaces it. Possibly not, but it looks really potent. And it's a 2-stage morph slash attacks that follows an axe wild swing. First stage morphs into sword mode. Second stage morphs into axe mode. During this combo, the power of the sword mode attacks increase and the axe mode attacks fill the switch gauge faster. So first stage morphs into sword mode. So basically you get increased damage in your sword mode on the first stage, and then your second stage when it morphs into axe mode, your axe attacks will fill up your switch gauge faster, which then basically combos really well into your elemental burst. I like how everything just has a lot of flow. And one thing that I really do appreciate in Rise in buffing the switch axe is they gave it a lot of flow now. And it feels like it's a perfect weapon as opposed to previous game titles where it felt really clunky. And especially when it got rapid morph, which adds more damage and more speed to switching your weapons. And then you have like evade extender, and how evade extender level 1 and 2 gives you enough evasion instead of like having to commit to like evade extender like 3. Just having evade extender 1, or just having Nargacuga's waste, which is actually a meta armor piece currently for the switch axes before Sunbreak, is just really good. Like you have a lot of flow, you have a lot of dodging, you have a lot of hyper armor, you have a counter. It's like you just completely, you can tech chase the monster. You could just chase down the monster with this weapon. Also with your 2 press finisher, you have like this little backing away. You have this little backing away step. And it's just, it's just really good. Everything just morphs really well into it. And honestly, I would say like Switch Axe is pretty amazing right now. Everything just is perfect on it.
Yeah, I'd say Switch Axe is in a good spot. I've been playing, I've been fighting Fatalis a bit recently, so I've been using Swax on him a lot, and brushing his teeth and shit.
I know.
But yeah.
And then in Rise, like that move, like the zero sum discharge when you like stick onto a monster, right, has inbuilt rock steady in Rise. So.
Right. Oh yeah, because it's not. Well,
because rock steady.
Like, grapple onto it.
Yeah, and rock steady isn't a thing, so they gave it. Really liking.
Well, I think you can still be knocked off, but like it's much harder.
No, you just get damaged.
Like base world.
Oh no, you don't get knocked off. You just get damaged, so it's very dangerous. It's a risk and reward thing, which is very balanced.
Roxy Mantle actually gives you a little bit of defense.
Yeah, you like mitigate it, but you can still die if you're not careful. Now let's get into Charge Blade. This is another one of those controversial weapons that people feel like got the shaft, and you basically got the ready stance, which takes place of counter peak performance, and counter peak performance is actually really good. You basically get this guard point that freely gives you all your files, and then you can basically use that and then swap into ready stance, which is another guard point, sadly. And what it says is a Silkbind maneuver that binds the sword and axe together with iron silk. After guarding, a heavy knockback leaves you in sword mode and lowers your guard reaction, so you're able to chain sword and axe attacks.
The hole actually got fucking punched through.
So it lowers your guard reaction, so you're able to chain sword and axe attacks. I don't really understand that. Can you elaborate more on it, meme?
Can you repeat that? Sorry,
Uh,
there's a lantern I'm trying to get and see if they use before it goes away.
Oh, you're good. It's the ready stance is a Silkbind maneuver that binds the sword and axe together with iron silk. After guarding, a heavy knockback leaves you in sword mode and lowers your guard reaction, so you're able to chain sword and axe attacks.
Uh, so it sounds like if you block a big attack, you're going to be left in sword mode, and then I think you'll have some. You have different follow-up options from it.
Uh,
That's kind of what it sounds like.
yeah.
Whether you want to go into like an axe combo, you can probably ZSD out of it. Not ZSD, Sade out of it. I'd be very surprised if you can't.
I honestly really don't know where ready stance like falls underneath, but it's a Silkbind attack, so I guess I really don't. I like counter peak performance is already so good for your files that I really just don't understand why ready stance exists. But then you have the other ability, which is the switch skill of follow up firing pin, which basically changes up your file follow up combo to this new combo, which is a mechanism that lowers the pressure of elemental energy generated through the shield thrust during elemental boost or by sword attacks while in sword boost mode. The elemental energy generated built up on your target but disappears over time. It can be detonated by any attack in axe mode and extending the time limit of the elemental boost.
Right, that was the one I was thinking of when I was talking about like you put it in there, there's stores of stuff. That's the one I was thinking of when we were talking about gunlines. That was the move I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
You place like a little file thing on the monster, and then you can hit it with sword, and it'll build up, and then you detonate it, and then it'll make a big boom.
Oh, okay. So
I think, you know how there's Wormstake in World?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except instead of making things hit twice, it'll store them and then it'll go make a bigger boom. But sounds like your shield thrust will deal less damage, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is when you use normal file follow up, you basically have those elemental discharges, right? But then when you use up the follow-up firing pin, your discharges stay on top of the monster, and then you swap into axe mode, and then basically it's just a huge big boom. I don't know how much more damage you are doing because of this play style. I really don't, but you know, it's pretty good. Also, your ready stance can basically guard in axe mode, which basically gives axe mode a defensive option besides being constantly in attack. So I guess that's good. It covers its weaknesses, but
because isn't it a Silkbind move, the ready stance or whatever?
Yeah.
So because you already have counter peak performance, it's already charged all your files, so which you can do in axe mode. So it seems a little bit redundant. Obviously, we don't have our hands on it, so we don't know what we can do from it. But still.
Oof. All right. So where are you putting it, in RIP, or it needs more?
No, RIP. Because I do like that file move where you can build up file. You can build up file damage.
Yeah.
It seems like that'll be good for elemental slacks a lot, or if you want to get KOs. That seems very nice.
Yeah.
Like
needs
like
more.
A B tier of some sort.
Yeah, it needs more. It needs more. But
we'll see how it changes when we get our hands on it. But right now, that's the current thoughts on it. You know.
Yeah. Next up on the list is Insect Glaive, and I do believe Insect Glaive got some really good loving, especially on the aerial. It really feels like they focused heavily onto your bug and aerial attacks, which is really good.
I think it's good to focus on bug because it is called the Insect Glaive. And the bug kind of just seems to be like an afterthought. Well, it's not obviously not an afterthought, but it kind of seems like just stuck on there, you know.
Yeah, and I will say
to incorporate it into your moves more, like having it fly around and doing specific attacks, like it did with Valor, or you know, the extract harvester.
Yeah.
That were really good moves. I think that aerial dodge you can do with it's kind of weird.
Oh, that
Unless
recall
I'm
Kinsect.
remembering it.
The recall Kinsect.
Yeah, the recall can work with ass.
Yeah. Yeah, but so this awakened Kinsect attack actually replaces recall Kinsect,
Which is
and
good.
and
That'll
it's
probably
a
be better.
yeah, and it's a technique where you hurl a Kinsect to inflict massive damage, and from the video you just see your Kinsect get yeeted and completely destroy this Rathalos and knock it
Yeah,
right out of
that's in
air.
GU as well.
Yeah, it inflicts massive damage. All extracts are consumed, and the more extracts you have, the
Oh.
more potent this attack will be. After
Oh,
launching
that's interesting.
the Kinsect, you'll close in using a wire bug, simultaneously absorbing extracts, marking the target, and then chaining into a vaulting dance. What? Yo!
That's interesting. Though, 'cause
Yo!
I thought that was literally just extract hunter, but it's now that sounds interesting. That it consumes your extracts.
It consumes your extracts.
Just use it when you're about to run out, when they're like flashing.
Yeah, use it when you're about to run out, and then it marks the target so you can easily get your Kinsects back. And then it also chains you into a vaulting dance, lunging you towards the monster for a gap closer.
Then you can end it with the diving thrust.
Yo, that's crazy. And then the other switch skill is the Kinsect Slash, which replaces jumping advancing slashes. So your jumping aerial move actually. Then you have the Kinsect Slash, where it looks like you use your Kinsect in conjunction when you are starting your attack. So it's a mid-air technique where you thrust forward with your glaive and Kinsect, so it's a good movement option as seen. If the slash connects, you'll perform a vaulting dance, absorbing extracts. However, once you've absorbed the red extract with the Kinsect Slash, you won't be able to absorb any other extract with it, but you'll be able to perform an enhanced insect spiker as a trade-off.
That is interesting. So you can only get red, but you can't but you get new moves, it sounds like?
No, if the slash connects, you perform a vaulting dance and you absorb in absorbing extracts. However, once you've absorbed the red extract, so I guess I don't know if it will absorb all of them or it will only absorb the red one.
It sounds like it'll only absorb red.
Okay, well, it sounds like it will absorb the other extracts if you don't have red, but if you do have red, it will prioritize your red one first, and you won't be able to absorb any other extracts with it. I'm confused on that one, but you'll be able to perform an enhanced insect spiker as a trade-off. So like, is this like, I don't really understand it.
An enhanced insect spiker?
Yeah,
Like that's the insect eat, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so you get an enhanced version of that from, sounds like connected attacks?
So for a limited time, you're sacrificing your red extracts to enhance an attack of yours for more damage. That's what I'm getting at. All in all, I mean, Kinsect Slash does seem a little bit confusing. You would just probably have to play with it, but the mid-air dash, and I love this direction, and I feel like they need to keep this direction with Insect Glaive, where you're using your extracts or not just buffs, but just something else to tap into your power, and just also combining your attacks with your Kinsects and making your Kinsects have more of like a role to play alongside you is also really cool. I'm honestly going to put Insect Glaive into amazing because that's just something that Insect Glaive just needed. I would say Insect Glaive would probably be the weapon that I would have said needed to counter the most, but when you're putting like all these abilities or these more abilities or focus into your like launching your Kinsects and aerial attacks, I feel like that one like little complaint kind of doesn't hold up because they're trying to take Insect Glaive from the ground and put it more up towards the air with these moves. And if Insect Glaive is just staying up in the air, I feel like it doesn't need a counter. But if you're trying to make Insect Glaive stay on the ground like in World, then it definitely needs a counter just so it can keep its combo going, because there's so much there's so many times where you just get interrupted and completely like swatted out. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely up there. Now, my baby, my sweet baby light bowgun, and let's admire this new light bowgun. It looks like some Imperial light bowgun. I love the design. I love how it's a rifle. I love how there's like a scope on it. I love how sleek it is, and I love how there's like this sword bayonet on it. I love this light bowgun. It's honestly probably my favorite light bowgun design, and replacing Zenogre's light bowgun design. And I've never thought would actually be at this position saying that, but you know, here we are. Anyways, here is the new Silkbind attack, which is this wyvern counter. As you see, it's being used against blood orange Bishatin, and you basically use an urgent retreat that fires a shot with massive recoil, kind of reminiscent to that one retreating shot from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, where you put like that little grenade on the ground and it backs you up. And it says an urgent retreat that fires a shot with massive recoil using a wire bug to stop.
Here we go.
Using a wire bug to stop yourself. While not a powerful attack, its true value comes when it's used to evade incoming attacks. And if timed right, you'll retreat with an explosive exit that can even neutralize breath attacks. So this is the only weapon in the game that you can legit neutralize a monster's attack with it.
Which is kind of interesting.
That is very interesting. That literally puts a whole new level of light bowgun playstyle. So do you just want to try to stay close to the monster as close as possible, and then in multiplayer runs try to negate their attacks and shut them down with your light bowgun? Because I feel like the good light bowguns, or the good like bowgun players, are going to be those people who are going to get into a lobby that will shut down the monsters or certain monsters' attacks for your teammates, to give them the opportunity to get in there and do their damage, because this move doesn't do a lot of damage, which is completely fine, because light bowgun,
it's not meant to. It's just a retreat move.
Yeah, it's an invasion move that also has utility purposes. And maybe some people would be like, oh my god, I just wanted a higher based attack because all the attacks of the light bowgun are kind of not really great, and all I have is fanning maneuver. But with this, it really gives it gives just a really interesting play style, a new play style to light bowgun, and I do appreciate it. It takes place of fanning maneuver, so I guess the play style is you just want to fanning maneuver and then swap immediately into your wyvern counter just so you can have it on standby. And then the second thing is critical firepower. So apparently they're making a new tree, or a new movement, or new switch skill tree for light bowgun, where your normal shooting is called marksman, and then you have this new shooting style called critical firepower, which is a special. Is there
a description on it?
It's a special shooting style that further raises damage output but narrows the critical distance and increases the recoil. So you're getting a recoil debuff. You are getting a recoil debuff while also basically getting free mind's eye. And your critical distance will actually be closer to the monster, which would be really great for which would be really great for item, or ammo types like spread. I don't think it's going to consider towards stickies.
I'd be severe. I would be surprised if it doesn't increase stickies.
Yeah, it says does not apply to certain ammo types. So I'm going to assume stickies is in there. Which
stuff that actually has quick distance.
Yeah, so I'm going to assume that spread is going to get a really huge buff on it. And if you're using spread light bowgun, you basically just want critical firepower all the time on your stuff. And I want to see the interaction between this and mind's eye, because what if you can negate the critical firepower debuff with mind's eye, and what if you can negate the recoil debuff with just adding another level of absorber? Because a lot of meta light bowguns, you don't actually need maxed out absorber or recoil, as opposed to needing to get maxed out like reload with elemental reload. So I mean, I feel like this is going to be really good for your normal shots and your spread shots, which probably needed a little bit more love. Normal more so spread, but I feel like this would actually make spread light bowgun just really good. But yeah.
I think it will be interesting, but I don't think it's like the most amazing changes.
Critical firepower isn't the most
Really,
amazing.
dude?
You're
joking.
it's solid.
Fuck
Like
you.
as a light bowgun player myself, it's solid. I'm really excited for Wyvern counter, and honestly, I wanted to main dual blades in Sunbreak, but this Wyvern counter is just kind of making me want to just main light bowgun just so I can get used to it, just so I can like master it early on, because I just feel like that's just going to be really great, and especially if we're going to get like monsters or like harder monsters like Fatalis, Dalmadur, like something from Yamasukami, theoretically, and if they have breath attacks and this can shut down their breath attacks, it'd just be really great just for like raids, like those raid boss styles. Anyways, moving on to our second to last option is our heavy bowgun.
That's
This
big boy.
This got big boy buffs. And not just big boy buffs, scary big boy buffs. Because
now something I'm worried about is if the fucking rings can stack. That'd be really fucking dumb if they do.
Yo, dude, if the rings could stack with light bowgun users, that'd be fucking pog as shit.
No,
But
they would stack with light bowgun because there's any pierce shot.
I don't.
Saying if they can stack through each other.
Oh yeah, true. That'd be wild. And if light bowgun can also use the buff, that'd be also wild. But anyways, you have this. You basically have this wire bug that the Silkbind attack that replaces your other Silkbind attack, which is the one that is the Wyvern slide. It's that sliding one that is like an evade. But anyways, it's Setting Sun. It's a Silkbind technique in which a wire bug generates a ring of iron silk. Special powder accumulates within the ring, and when ammo passes through it, the velocity of the ammo is decreased. Firing piercing ammo / multi-hit ammo through the ring will boost the total number of its hits upon impact. So this sounds like it's boosting Pierce heavy bowgun, which was already bad. Pierce heavy bowgun was just really bad because of the charging and just how
was just bad.
Yeah, and just how fast. Yeah, and it just how fast you shot the piercing bullet. It just kind of made piercing heavy bowgun just not viable. So you just kind of went piercing light bowgun. But on the other topic, you also get to shoot your multi-hit ammo, and it also, as shown in the picture, your Wyvern snipe ammo actually gets boosted with the ticks. Its ticks get boosted. Your piercing ammo ticks get boosted. And I'm going to go
about to get
melted. Yeah, Narwa's about to get melted. And I would assume your slicing. I am assuming slicing will also get increased ticks.
More up in the air though.
Yeah, that's more up in the air. But the main thing is crouching shot is back. Like what?
That's the big boy buff.
Dude, like what? Crouching shot? We have siege mode back on heavy bowgun, and for you guys that, yeah,
you're not gonna be able to like dodge into reloading it. That's just
yeah. Because for those people who never played in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, Valor Heavy Bowgun with Siege was the most broken thing ever. It's legit the most broken weapon in all of Monster Hunter existence. And we basically have Siege mode back. And it's a style of shooting that utilizes a special stance to reduce recoil. So your recoil gets reduced to basically nothing. And in exchange for not being able to move, you're able to fire in rapid succession. Now, I don't know if it's going to allow you to fire out of the clip or out of the reserves. In Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, in Generations, you were able to fire out of the reserves, making basically turning your 5 to 8 shot heavy bowgun into a 60-shot heavy bowgun. While you are stationary. It also says the longer you fire, the shorter the firing interval becomes, but at the risk of overheating your bowgun. If your bowgun overheats, it can't be fired until it has cooled down. Note certain ammo types cannot be used. I'm going to assume like slicing and stickies can't be used, and they added this overheating effect to balance it, so it's not going to get too much out of hand like the the previous iteration of heavy bowgun, or the last two iterations back in Gen. Where would you put this, in solid or amazing?
That's amazing.
Amazing. Okay, so despite the nerfs,
heavy bowgun was in a bad spot in Rise.
No, I wouldn't say it was in a bad spot. It was top 3 weapons. It was number 3. Yeah, it was number 3 on the speed tier, or speed running tier list. Yeah, it was better than longsword. All ranged weapons are better than the melee weapons. By far. But
it doesn't feel that good to play.
Yeah, but I can say this is kind of more along the lines of heavy bowgun playstyle instead of this weird hybrid like bowgun-esque heavy bowgun that we have in World. But yeah, I'm really excited for crouching fire to come back. I'm glad that it's not going to be as strong as it previously once was, and I'm really excited for setting stun because it's going to make piercing heavy bowgun better. So I'm really glad on that. It's very amazing. Heavy bowgun looks really fun. As you guys know, I'm a gunner at heart, so I play light bowgun, I play heavy bowgun, I play bow, and I also play longsword and dual blades as like my top 5 weapons. So I'm glad that all my top 5 weapons have gotten something that looks good. But anyways, we're going to wrap this up and finish this off with the bow. The bow, it has gotten Butcher's Bind, which actually replaces, as you see, Butcher's Bind adds severing damage to your bow. It's kind of like that one Hunter Arts off of Monster Hunter Generations and Generations Ultimate, and it replaces aerial aim, but what it does, it fires an arrow loaded with Iron Silk, and if the follow-up arrow lands in the same spot as the first, Iron Silk winds around both arrows, inflicting severing damage. If the second arrow is off target, the lodged arrow disappears. So you basically have to be very accurate. So for PC players, it's going to be very easy. For your Switch players, it might be a little bit harder. You basically,
I found both fairly fine.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be too much harder. And it's not going to be that bad. So you basically put this bind, and I've also seen on the video, you can swap to your aerial aim, so you could just change it to your aerial aim and try to shoot it easier. And once you shoot it, both arrows will basically blow up into severing damage, which, gives you better severing than just meleeing the monster with your bow. And it's quite niche, but hey, you can sever tails now.
I mean, you can do that with Dragon Pierce already.
Oh, true. What else did you get? You also get this switch skill called Stake Thrust. Oh yeah, that's like the really interesting one that actually replaces your melee attack. So you basically, instead of melee attacking and slicing the monster like you basically don't do, you basically can use your melee attack to put in an explosive arrow that you can then shoot the arrow and blow it up. It's an attack that thrusts an explosive stake into your targets. The stake reacts to follow-up attacks, dealing extra damage to targets. The amount of extra damage dealt is determined by the type of arrow loosed. I don't understand what they mean by that, but basically it's you put an explosive arrow into the monster and then you shoot the explosive arrow for more damage. I don't know if it does KO damage, but it might do KO damage.
Sorry.
It's fine because we actually finished it. But anyways, Meme had a jet. I also have a jet. But for the tier of the bow, we're gonna put it in solid, and that's how we and that is our thoughts and opinions on all of the weapons. We feel as if most weapons got some really great things that that are just out of this world. Other weapons got some really good things that will accentuate their play style and just increase the overall effectability, if that's a word. Effectiveness, yeah, not effectability. The overall effectiveness of the weapons in their own sort of play styles. We have 2 weapons that need a little bit more loving, and then we have 1 weapon that just got completely shafted. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and be sure to leave a like, comment, follow, and subscribe, and check out my channel for more videos, and check out my previous build videos and other videos. With all that being said, peace out all my fellow weebs and weebettes.